Shriman Narayan. Jai Shriman Narayan. Jai Shriman Narayan. I pay my obeisances to my spiritual master, Srimad Jagadguru Sudarshan Acharyaji Maharaj. I pay my obeisances to Lord Sri Ramanuj. I pay my obeisances to our Purva Acharyas. I pay my obeisances to our 12 Alvars. I pay my obeisances to Mother Lakshmi. And I pay my obeisances to Lord Sriman Narayan. I welcome all of you here physically at the Sri Narayan Dham in Durban, South Africa. I welcome those that's watching this discourse locally, nationally and internationally, and I welcome in advance those that's going to be watching this discourse when it is posted on YouTube and the various groups from around the world subsequently. A special welcome to our Mother Kali on her second appearance in the Navratri celebrations, which is held around the world in this immediately after the Pitru Paksha and the Puratasi fasting. And before we go into this discourse, I just want to wrap up all that happened yesterday on a first day. So like a biological mother that gives birth, similarly the spiritual mother has given birth yesterday on day one to an interfaith affiliation that is going to change South Africa in such a dynamic way that we are going to become the most prosperous country in the world. So I'm making these bold statements up front, like I did 3 years ago when I said that the Sri Narayan Dham will change the political consciousness of this country. We've already injected within the consciousness of the government, and it was witnessed by all present and around the world yesterday with the attendance of 2 members of the National Parliament and the attendance of political leaders driving as far as 300 kilometers to attend a function yesterday. Politicians are now showing an interest in spirituality, and that is why we had people flying from Johannesburg to the Guru, because I don't have 100,000 followers. So it is no reason for politicians to come to my function. What can I give them in return? I just have 10 followers, 4 of which is my family. What can I give these politicians in return? How will 10 votes help their cause? So they are coming here because the Guru has touched their soul. And they are not Sanatan Dharmis, all of them. They belong to different races and different cultures, and they have come long distance. They stayed overnight in Durban. They paid for their own expenses just to be here yesterday. And they only had 2 or 3 minutes to talk. So there was nothing other than the Guru's consciousness permeating the consciousness of politicians, as the Guru stated 3 years ago. Excuse me. So I asked Vishwadhar to find these 2 or 3 videos that's on YouTube, download it and keep it on hand, because there are people that's going to say, no, this never happened. Yesterday was a groundbreaking event where it was proposed that the Sri Narayan Dham become the Secretariat of the South African Interfaith Council. South African Interfaith Council. And that is a huge stride into the presidency itself. So I want to take this opportunity and elaborate on how this would affect South Africa and how Mother Durga or Mother Kali gave birth yesterday to these functionaries that can make South Africa prosperous. So when I assist with the program of this institution, we're going to make it ward-based, which means in whichever ward there is a temple, mosque, church, synagogue, that ward-based interfaith will work in that ward with the ward councillors. All the ward councillors, whether they were successful or not, with the ward councillors and the PR councillors, they will form a region, they will form a district, they will be part of the province, and ultimately they will be governed from national. So if you inject righteousness in the ward, that righteousness will ultimately be injected throughout the country. Now you show me and you tell me, how can we go wrong when every councillor is surrounded by religious leaders? Every provincial leader is surrounded by religious leaders, and every national parliamentarian is surrounded by religious leaders. His first port of call is through the religious forum that is in his or her ward or province or both nationally. How can these politicians go wrong when the eye of the Lord is shining the spotlight on every politician? So this is also a world first. This design or this formula is not being practiced anywhere in the world currently, is it? Have you heard of it? And again, the Sri Narayan Dham is initiating this. It's going to be a lot of work, and that is why I said in my speech yesterday that when we are celebrating our 20th, when the Sri Narayan Dham is celebrating its 20th birthday, 10 years from now, South Africa will be the most prosperous country in the world. You heard me make that remark? I'm qualifying it now with this formula. So it is hard work, it is diligent work, but because this scenario took birth on the first day of Navratri, you think this exercise can go wrong? So, having said all of that, I want to move on to our main discourse for tonight. I have asked devotees to stay at home and watch this live, but who can stop Bhadra Kali from coming to the ashram? Satish Bhai. So this is day 2 of Navratri, and I stated yesterday that we need, well, from the Guru's perspective, Navratri will be seen through the spiritual eyes and through scripture. I was informed yesterday by an associate who's doing Navratri at the temple that this year's Navratri is costing them 100,000. 100,000. And Vishwadharma, we got some figures from his temple. Vishwadhar, got any figures? 150, okay. You can give us those figures later. And sometimes we need to be upfront, we need to be bold, and we need to remedy this. Because God's supposed to be giving. The mother's supposed to be giving, not taking. That is, I think, a huge amount to spend just over 9 days. Yeah, 10,000 is okay, but to spend that amount in 9 days is a big ask of the congregation. Be that as it may, I want to introduce Mother Durga from 5,000 years ago. From 5,000 years ago. You know when she appeared 5,000 years ago? Anyone? No one knows? Be bold. You don't have to go through Bhadrakali to give that answer. You can give it straight through. When Lord Shri Krishna took his birth in his role in the Mahabharata, in the prison cell, and when the children were exchanged, Mother Durga took a birth. Also, in the Mahabharata, a saint, Makan Deya, also took part in the Mahabharata, and he wrote 700 verses of the Devi Mahatmyam. So I just want to bring these things together and kick out the myth and bring the scientific and the absolute aspects in. And you don't have to pay 100,000 for that. If you have a guru, then this information is for free. And it is scriptural, and it's the absolute truth. So, I want to read a few verses from the Srimad Bhagavatam, and I want to introduce in this Kali Yuga, when Mother Durga took one of her births. Her initial birth is at creation. Mother Durga's initial birth is at creation, and she is the superintendent of the universe, of the material universe. She is the superintendent of the material universe, and her husband is Lord Shiva. And she personifies the universe, the material aspect of the universe. Like how you get a state president, Cyril Ramaphosa personifies the government, the country, and everything to do with South Africa. He is the personification of South Africa. Is he the rock? Is he the stone? Is he the rivers? Is he the sea? No, he is the personification of the entire country. Similarly, Mother Durga is the personification of this entire material universe. You understand? She is the head. And Durga means prison. From Sanskrit to English, Durga means prison, and she personifies this material universe, which once you become spiritual is a prison. And Vishwadhar is trying his very best to get a pass out of this prison. He is trying his level best to leave this prison at the end of this life. But he has to follow all the instructions that the parole officer, which is his guru, gives him. All, not some. So I don't know whether he is here willfully or through instruction. Are we understanding where we are now? So Mother Durga, for the purposes of the Mahabharata, she assists Lord Shri Krishna to play that epic, to be a part of that epic. And we want to be current. Creation was 155 trillion years ago. Too far, we can't remember what we did yesterday. You understand? So, I'm bringing the current aspect of Mother Durga into this discourse so that we can have an understanding where we can reach her. Where we can reach her and feel her. So, I'm going to read first So her parents are in prison, and Kamsa enters the prison and I'm taking a few verses from there. Canto 10, chapter 4. Having text 8. Canto 10, chapter 4, text 8. Having uprooted all relationships with his sister because of the intense selfishness, Kamsa, who was now sitting on his knees, grasped the newborn child by the legs and tried to dash her against the surface of a stone. This is what demons do. Kamsa was a demon. This is the role of a demon. Okay. The child, Yoga Maya Devi, the younger sister of Lord Vishnu, slipped upwards from Kamsa's hand and appeared in the sky as Devi, the goddess Durga, with 8 arms, completely equipped with weapons. Text 10 and 11. The goddess Durga was decorated with flower garlands, smeared with sandalwood pulp and dressed with excellent garments and ornaments made of valuable jewels, full stop. Holding in her hands a bow, a trident, arrows, a shield, a sword, a conch shell, a disc and a club, and being praised by celestial beings like Apsaras, Kinaras, Uragas, Siddhas, Karanas, and Gandharvas, who worshipped her with all kinds of presentations, she spoke as follows. Text 12, and I quote, she says, O Kamsa, you fool, what will be the use of killing me? Question mark, full stop. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who has been your enemy from the very beginning and who will certainly kill you, has already taken his birth somewhere else. Therefore, do not unnecessarily kill other children. Text 13. After speaking to Kamsa in this way, the goddess Durga, Yogamaya, appeared in different places such as Varanasi and became celebrated by different names such as Annapurna, Durga, Kali and Bhadra. Alright. So I wanted to introduce Mother Durga through this sequence where she herself has endorsed that she is not the Supreme Godhead and that she has endorsed Lord Sriman Narayan as the Supreme Godhead herself, because there are those that follow the Devis called the Shaktas, and through misunderstanding scriptures and just taking certain aspect of scripture out of context, these Shaktas believe that Mother Durga or Mother Kali is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So I wanted to bring that aspect and clear it through scripture itself, So we understand the context in which the Sri Narayan Dham is celebrating Navratri, so that there is no confusion between those that's going to follow us, and no contradiction in the Sri Narayan Dham celebrating Navratri, giving the feminine aspect of the Supreme Lord the total gratitude that aspect of the Supreme Lord deserves. But we are not endorsing that Mother Kali or Mother Durga is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So I also stated that when Lord Shri Krishna was in the Mahabharata, together with him was Vedavyas, and for the purposes of this Navratri, together with Vedavyas was Markandeya, the saint Markandeya. Alright? So, equating these three, Lord Shri Krishna, Markandeya, and Vedavyas, who compiled the Devi Mahatmyam, which was spoken by Markandeya, that there is a coherent understanding of the role of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sriman Narayan, the role of Mother Lakshmi, and which is the feminine aspect, of Lord Sriman Narayan, and the avatars of Mother Lakshmi as Mother Durga, Mother Saraswati, and Mother Kali. So we want to clear this and bring this into its perspective. So I'm going to read from the Devi Mahatmyam, and the very first verse in relation to the advent of Mother Kali, and it is stated, I resort to Mahakali, who has 10 faces, 10 legs, and holds in a hand the sword, disc, mace, arrows, bow, club, spear, missile, human head and conch, who is three-eyed, adorned with ornaments on all her limbs, and luminous like a blue jewel, whom Brahma extolled in order to destroy Madhu and Ketaba when Vishnu was in mystic sleep. Okay, so you can see again that the very first mantra brings Lord Vishnu into its perspective when he is in mystic sleep. And when is Lord Vishnu in mystic sleep? During creation. So we got the creator there, Lord Sriman Narayan, and we got Mother Kali. Yes? And her role is to kill the demons. Alright, when this happened? Many years ago. So it means, Jessica, in this Navratri, the ashram's demon should also be killed. So on one side you have the Guru and his followers, and on one side you have the demons and his following. This happens from the beginning of creation up until the end of creation. You'll have the guru and you'll have the demon. The guru's followers will be decent, will be honest, will be truthful, will be pure, their speech will be sober, their language will be sublime, and the things they say will be nectarian. Then you'll get the demon. His speech will be vile, his language will be sewer, their descriptions will be so vulgar that it cannot be conceived to have come from a human being. So it is these two ends, that we navigate in this 9 nights and 10 days. So Satish Bhai, I said in a discourse yesterday, I don't know down or top, that load shedding unleashes a torpedo of mosquitoes. Are you all feeling it here today? Satish Bhai, have you been attacked by a mosquito? And this is what happens. This is what happens every day at the ashram. There's over 1 million devotees. If our demon had spiritual eyes, he'll see how many devotees I really have at this ashram. But because he's hiding his eyes in thick glasses, I don't know which position the eyes are looking, he cannot see all of our devotees that are present in the ashram. Because if you just count the mosquitoes themselves, Satish Bhai, these mosquitoes can make you miserable. So, in this time, we need to use our positive energies to kill our negative energies. So, both it is external and it is also internal. And those of us that have vices and addictions, we can ask the mother form of the Supreme Lord, the mother energy, we can ask the mother energy, the feminine energy of the Supreme Lord, that as he used that energy to vanquish the external demons in the Devi Mahatmyam, he give us the same potency to destroy our inner demons and make us better persons, personalities and characters in these 9 days. So if anybody is addicted to vape, they can ask the Supreme Lord power to kill the addiction of vape. And those of you that belong to this ashram and go do Havan right in the back there by the Gomatas, can ask the Supreme Lord to take away your Pandit status and just become disciples. Gerald? How are you, my boy? Okay, so it is a time to rejuvenate. It is a time to restructure. It is a time to evolve. It is a time to come out of darkness. It is a time to be prosperous. It is a time to be successful. It is a time that if you want to go into fasting, then you can go into fasting, which help cleanse your entire system. So use this Navratri at its optimum. Destroy your inner demons. The ashram itself has capacity to destroy the outer demons, but make this 9 nights and 10 days, give it value. Don't let it slip by. Leave something small. Remove a small negativity. Remove a small negativity from your system. We still got many years to remove the other negativities, vices and addictions. Start the de-addiction program in this Navratri, and the Supreme Lord will carry you through. Jai Shriman Narayan.